Stacy, here we are.
Here we are. How are you? 74, Michael. Woohoo!
74. Wow. 74. So I say wow every time because I don't really know what else to say before an episode number. But I sort of feel like wow is really appropriate just because I never thought we'd get this far. And I say that basically every time we open up a show. So I'm going to try to get new material. I'm like Jerry Seinfeld. I'm going on record right now. You're never going to hear me say from this point on, wow, going forward. Okay?
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Cool.
So 7 and 4 is 11. And this is actually remarkable. What does 11 have to do with our podcast? More specifically, me.
Oh, God.
Now,
11.
if you're truly my friend, if
Oh,
you've
come
listened
on.
to anything I've said, if you somewhat remarkably, considerably, half-heartedly know me at all, you'll know what the number 11 means to me.
Oh, when you say it, I'm going to feel so. I don't know. You know
What if
my memory.
What if I told you, here's a little better way of me to say it. At the age of 11, what happened to me? What did I watch on television?
You watched Rocky on television.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, because I'm like, of course it's that. I don't know if it's something else. And you're
That's
really
way too simple of an answer, right?
Right.
Yes. Yes. What's that old saying?
Rocky.
Occam's razor. No,
Yes.
Yeah, right. That's right. Yeah,
Yes.
the most obvious has to be true, right? I think
Right.
is that,
Right.
yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Yes.
I'm pulling a Mike Tyson right now. I'm using words I don't exactly know. Well, basically, it's all skullduggery here, Stacy. I don't know what's going on.
Hey, I love him. Stop.
I love Tyson. Are you kidding me? I think Mike Tyson watches this. I don't know. No.
I was like, what?
Yeah, no, Tyson was quite amazing. Listen, I want to start this off. We were going to talk about something else, but I want to get right into this. As Stacy and I were prepping for this, we just saw on the Sly Stallone shop, they just released this. Would you put that picture up and leave it up? Because I want to read off what you get with it. Now, look at this, people. Okay. This is the Rocky action figure that my good friend, John Rivoli, our good friend, John Rivoli, has had a major hand in creating. Like, seriously, this is maybe one of the best. This might be the best representation of the Rocky character. Now, let me tell you guys, it's on pre-order right now. I just pre-ordered mine, but it's not going to ship until January of 24. They gotta build it up. But here's what you get. You get 3 lifelike hand-painted head sculpts. You get of course, the body, 8 interchangeable hands, the black jacket with working pockets, gray sweatshirt, pair of pants, the brown boots. They are brown boots. You get an extra navy blue hat. You get the ball. You get notes, the notepad, a pencil. You get the luxury diorama stand, which is magnetic. You get Butkus and the turtle pool with Cuff and Link.
Oh my God, I love that.
Now you see what the interesting thing is about this. If you look at the head sculpt at the bottom of the picture with no hat on, that is taken when Rocky is sitting in the chair in Jurgen's office.
Yes,
that's what that head sculpt is.
Yeah,
and I can tell you, John Rivoli, without John Rivoli, and this, guys, this is not for me to kiss up to John. This is an honest to God. I know what was going on behind the story a little bit here, and if it wasn't for John Rivoli's artistic eye, John's view just enhanced this every which way is possible. Look at that face of Rocky. The only face that I've seen that's equal to that is the Rocky 2 statue with Butkus. That's the Blitzway. I've never seen anything quite as good as this. What do you think about this, Dace?
Well, I've said many times, and I've said it to John, he captures Rocky's face, Sly's face, the best. Because it's like, there's a lot of beautiful art out there, but there's just something about the expression. He captures it a little more precisely. And and that's what I love about this. And I know he's worked really hard with everyone over at Sly Stallone Shop to
bring
make
this
these,
to be.
to make these statues look, or these action figures look as real as possible.
Well, you look at that jacket. He's got the pleat on the shoulder that goes from the shoulder across the shoulder, which is very odd. You don't see jackets like that. And the collar's got this triple stitching around it.
Yeah.
And if I'm just telling you guys, if you guys are real Ultimate Rocky fans, this is a collectible you have got to have. And it's 1/6 scale. So that's pretty big. 1/6 scale.
1/6.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
that is big. Because isn't it usually 1/16? What is it usually?
Yeah,
okay.
something like that. Something like that. So I don't know exactly what 1/6 is, but I'm guessing it's somewhere around 12 inches.
Okay. Wow. That is nice.
That's a pretty good size.
Cool.
And there we are, back again.
Back again.
I was very, very excited to see that. Very excited to see that. Hey, listen, before we start to interview anybody, are we interviewing people today?
We are. Yeah.
Oh, we are. Are they here yet?
He is here. Yes.
All right. Well, we're gonna have him wait just 1 second. I'm gonna have you introduce him. But I do want to say one thing. No, actually, you're gonna do more of the talking because I hog up the talking too much here. So what is May? What is it in the Rocky World?
So we've been doing our themes, and we were knocking around a bunch of ideas. And so that's why we opened the way we did, because we are calling May Rocky Memorabilia May. And our guest who's coming on is a perfect opener for that. So,
really nice.
Yeah. He's got a lot of cool stuff lined up for us. He sent me a bunch of pictures. And then I wanted to show you some of my favorite things, of course.
What do you got?
I mean, I love all the t-shirts and all the stuff that you can get, but for me, it's all about the originals, anything original or anything off the set or something like that. So of course, this piece from the board, right?
Oh, right.
And the displays that people are creating, right?
I know, right?
So I haven't gotten it all together yet, but I have. This is like metal. It's a metal piece of art, the poster. I'm going to get one of those shadow boxes. And I think Tony D might even send me a little piece of brick, because he's been collecting brick pieces as the construction's happening. So I'm like, yay, I love you, Tony D. So I'm going to do a shadow box with that and this and get that all together, because that's very special, because that's like legit all the way from 75.
Yeah.
And then the other two things are from you, Michael. My teacup, my Adrian's teacup.
They're from me?
They are. I don't know. Maybe it was the other Mike Kunda that I know.
Well, there better not be too many Kundas out there, because the world can't handle two of us.
There's only one. In a plate from the wall.
Oh, yes. From the first apartment. Yes, that's right.
So
that's right.
I love that stuff. I love stuff that's was really there. And I will revisit the red lamp that hangs over the turtles. If anyone ever sees that red lamp, send it my way. I want to hang it right over my head here. I would love that.
That would be incredible. I think I'm gonna send you a video. Maybe you can put it in right here.
Mike Kunda's collection that we've all seen 1,000 times. Take one.
This red phone actually was used during filming in Balboa. When Rocky walks up the steps of Adrian's kitchen, the phone rings, and of course Rocky answers it. And what a lot of people don't know is that was his son, Rocky Jr., canceling plans for him to come see him for dinner. This green bench, a beautiful gift from my friends at the Victor Cafe. That's right. It was used in this scene right here. You can see it in the background in the trophy room. The giant piece of red board that held Mickey's poster on it right here. Here we go. Look close. And there's only 10 of these. The Adrian sign I have hanging in my room here. There are only two. One here and one in the Victor Cafe, made by a guy who took my tour, who is an old world woodworker. Say that 300 times fast. Yo, who keeps ringing that bell? Lipton iced tea from back in, I think the early 2000s, right? My good friend Charlie bought me this as a thank you. This is a prop used in Rocky Balboa that was right above this very seat that we see in the movie. Not everybody's got one of these.
the part of the tree Rocky put his chair in Rocky Balboa. Yep, that's a fact. 1985, Rocky 4 boots. Y'all want to play Monopoly? Get out of here, Rocky 4 board game. You know what? I think it's time to end this show.
Wow, that was a great video, Stacy.
That was awesome.
My editing skills are incredible. How about that? Wow.
Loved it. Very cool stuff. Very cool stuff.
Well, listen, who are we talking to today, and why are they doing our show? Are they Rocky fans? Who is this person?
Yet another amazing tour. Again, you find some of the coolest people. This gentleman, Mike Delss, he has his own podcast, and that's called Dirty Ugly Wrestling Podcast. He's a massive Rocky fan. He has a lot of fun stuff to show us. And Mike, you went on and on about how much fun he is. So let's just bring him in. Mike, here he is. Boom. Hey, what do you got on?
How you doing?
There he is.
How you doing?
I'm wearing the colors from the Apollo first fight. These colors is very special to me. You know what I'm saying?
Now, is that your mask, or do you have to wash that and give it back to someone before you
you know, if I got to give it to somebody, I'm going to wash it. But no, that's mine. I actually wore something like this when I took your tour. So
yeah, right.
Wanted to, I'll start with that, but I'll take that off. But I still got the hat on. You know, I got pretty much the same clothes I had on when I took your tour in December. Now, these have been washed since December, but
I was just wondering.
You know,
Right.
I like to keep it clean, but there's still holes in it. You know, I still got the Italian stallion rocking on the back, so that's how I roll. There it is.
There we are. Look at those almost handsome guys. Well, you're definitely handsome. I have some facial tics going on here. I don't know what's wrong with me. I must have been. Oh, I know what happened. That's the day I was kicked in the head by a donkey.
Will you
Oh,
stop?
that's what, okay. You didn't let me know about that one.
Yeah,
I didn't know about that.
I have a
But
lot
you still gave a great tour, though. I'll tell you that.
Thank
much right now.
you. Thank you, Mikey. I appreciate that. Really.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate. We got the same name, you know. Well, kind of the same. I'm not a Kundo, but I'm a Mike. So you know that kind of happens. And Stacy just, you know, we just knocked this out and really quickly as far as this interview process. And she was like, "Oh yeah, you're good to go," you know.
Yeah. Totally.
So this is great. I appreciate this, guys. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's is your mom and dad, are they still around?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Living in Baltimore, Maryland, about 10 minutes away from where I live.
So my father told me one of the worst things they could have done was to name me Michael after my father. He said Michaels are notorious for being bastards, not listening to the parents, causing problems. And my mother, quite honestly, was at any given point for the first 9 years of my life, she was going to give me up to the gypsies. They used to go around the neighborhood. Yeah, when I was getting out of line. Stacy, I think I talked about this at one point. I used to go to my grandmother's, and the gypsies would come around. And my mother would say, anyone named Michael is going out that door with the gypsies.
Yes.
Yeah, my mother she was tough. I mean, she never needed to hit me. It was just the threat of being given up. Yeah. And put to work in the field and working in the warehouses where these gypsies supposedly, and there were no gypsies. There was just a guy going around with stuff he made. Today, he would be called a flea market goer. Okay. That was it. But did your parents ever say anything to you like that like they wish they never named you Mike?
You know, this is the first time I've ever heard anything like that from either you or my parents. So this is all news to me. But a quick short story how I got my name, if you don't mind.
Yes.
I got my name from the priest who baptized me, actually. So and his last name was Roach, Roach. So instead of naming me Roach, which is not great, they named me Mike or Michael. So that's where that came from.
Nice. I like that story.
That's a little no gypsies, you know, no gypsies, no violence as far as I know. But you know, I was introduced a little bit later on by my dad, by Rocky, and you know, a little bit later on. We'll talk about that when it's one of your questions of substantive questions that you asked, and I was like, you know, I'll tell you about that too if you want.
I'm looking forward to that. Now, I want to ask you something. Oddly, I just ordered it this morning for $10 on eBay. Behind you on the door is the Mighty Mix laundry bag. It's in the shape of a 40-ounce punching bag.
That's right.
Love that. I love that. When did
It's
you get that?
fantastic. The shape of the 40-ounce bag, and it's
Yeah.
also like the bag you hang on the wall at Mick's gym.
Yeah.
Take the bag and hang it. Mickey tells me what to do. I got to do it, right?
I love that. I love it.
That was a gift from my friend Jason, who's big on my podcast, big wrestling fan. But he knew I was a big Rocky fan. Knew I took the tour, and he brought that to me. I'm like, yeah, I can do a lot of things with that.
Nice.
And I wanted to make sure it was right there, front and present for this podcast.
I love it.
You know what I mean?
First thing I noticed was that. Now, you do have a pair of your dirty underwear hanging on the doorknob. What is that there?
Wait a minute. What are you talking about?
What am I looking at? What is
What
that?
are you looking at? The dirty on that doorknob right under Mick's bag?
Yeah, what is that?
No, man, that's lanyards. That's a lot of lanyards that I collect from
Oh.
different places and credentials and things like that.
cool.
The top part you might see might look like a pair of undies. It's not.
Okay.
It's actually a mask that says Canada, EH Canada. It's a sleeping mask that I got in Canada.
I love that. That's awesome. Nothing says sleep like a dark room. I mean, that darkness is where it's at, man.
It's some pretty good light coming in here right now, but I feel you. Dark
hear
rooms
ya.
put some curtains on the even black things on the curtains like Elvis used to do, and I'm all about
Exactly.
that. Give me some sleep.
Yeah, seriously, my God. So what is it about this character of Rocky? Why do you love Rocky? Why are you such an incredible fan?
And just ever since the introduction, which I mentioned, so I'll tell you, my dad, he shopping malls. Remember those? They used to have movie theaters attached to them, and we came in to see a movie. We weren't sure which one we were going to see yet, and we had noticed that we were there right around Rocky IV. So this is right around 1985, and we were 10 minutes late, or 10 or 15 minutes late. So we didn't buy a ticket in the front like we should have. Now, nobody's going to come after us. This mall is long gone. But we snuck in the back door, like the fire exit that didn't go off. And we started watching right at Apollo versus Drago, and got to see the whole fanfare, the whole musical number, which kind of started another line of things for me as far as entertainment goes. But I was like, man, didn't this movie, I'm thinking to my dad, I'm 8 years old now. It's like, 7 or 8 years old. Didn't this movie just start? Why is this guy dying? What is this? And then we didn't get into Rocky until a little bit later on in the movie, of course. But I'm like, man, I got to watch this whole movie when it comes out on VHS and rent it and whatever. And then I got to figure out what the rest of them are. So I went backwards. I went Rocky IV, Rocky III. Since I'm a wrestling fan, got to watch the Thunder Lips and Mr. T and all that kind of stuff, Hulk Hogan. Then I went back to 2, back to 1, and then I started going forward from there, 1990 Rocky V and everything. So it's just from the very beginning, I was a kid who was not the most popular kid in school, not the best athlete, but I had things that I was good at and I enjoyed, but I always felt like this could be a 1 in a million shot. That's on the poster I sent you. That's the very poster I've been dragging around for 35, 40 years. And I felt really close to that. And I'm like, this guy's an underdog, always an underdog. But he always seems to come out on top no matter what he does, whether he wins, whether he loses, whether he ties. Somehow he comes out on top and he knows a way to a victory story. So that's me. That's me in a nutshell.
I love that.
Nice. Now go ahead, Stace.
And I was going to just show the picture. He sent me that. You've had that since you were 21, you said?
Roughly 21 years old when I moved out of my parents' house. I still had that at my parents' house, but I took it with me. I framed it. And that poster came from Sam Goody video, whatever that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Sam Goody had a poster section.
That's a throwback.
Yeah, and I had that. Now, and Mike, you're responsible for what's above that because we had a conversation on the tour and you were telling me about where I can get the Ring Magazine belt. And I saw a couple of them, a couple of things that you had told me. And I was like, you know what? I got to jump on this right now because this is one of the things I should have had a long time ago. But now I got it. And
I want to ask you something about that belt because this is very interesting to me. You chose the belt that is not movie accurate.
You're right.
What went into your decision on that?
I had 2 choices. So I looked at the other black and white pictures and I looked at the names and I looked up the history of the people on the belt. And I'm like, first of all, I don't know much history about these people so I didn't want to do a disgrace to be that guy that's like, oh, I hang the belt and then it's because I like the middle part, but I don't know about the rest of it.
Okay.
So the second part is I know the history of all 4 of those people that are on that picture on the belt. The only thing that I really have a problem with is Drago is on that belt and Drago never held that belt.
Right.
Mr. T, Clubber Lang, he did. Apollo, he did. And
Yeah.
Rocky, he did.
Tommy Gunn should be on that belt.
Tommy
technically.
Gunn should be on there instead of Ivan Drago. You're absolutely right.
Well, you can make that happen though.
And
Because
I'm sure there's a
can put
plate out there for me.
Yeah, you can. You could just get a picture of Tommy Gunn and you could do a little magic on the computer and make a blue background, and you could slip Tommy Gunn's a picture in there. Now, if anyone is wondering, Mike, what's wrong with that belt? The belt looks great to me. Well, to the untrained eye, it looks great, obviously. And as Mike said, he did this. There was a purpose why he chose that.
There's
and
an absolute purpose.
I genuinely respect that. But in the movie, we had 4 boxers on there, and I'm looking at it now. It's Cinderella Man. Who was Cinderella Man? Russell Crowe did the movie. Russell Crowe did the movie about the real guy, Cinderella Man. The name's escaping me. So that's the guy on the right. Then you got George Foreman. Then you got Sullivan, John L. Sullivan. Then you got Floyd Patterson. So I pretty much, I do kind of know about these guys a little bit, but that was the movie version that we got. They brought in actual fighters from the real world, like they did with Rocky Marciano, Mike Tyson, and Antonio Tarver was not a real fighter in the movie. He was Mason Dixon, but he is a real heavyweight champion. Anyways, for the longest time, it used to irk me why a fan would want a non-replica belt to the movie. And you just made it okay in my brain why fans would do that. I like your rationalization for that, and many continued good years of staring at that thing on the wall.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yep, that was my rationalization. Absolutely. And the Ivan Drago, Tommy Gunn thing has not surpassed me either. So that's happening. That's absolutely happening.
Yeah, no, I could tell you're a very serious fan when it comes to these things. No, I can tell. I love that. I love that. So of all the Rockies, what one, if you had a gun to your head, is your favorite? Is that possible to have a favorite?
Yeah. I know we've had this conversation on my podcast and in your tour van too. So I was prepared for this. So at first I was going to say, because of my dad and the first introduction of Rocky IV, but I know we talked about Rocky IV and we won't get into because I know where we're going to go with that. So
yeah, but mine is better though. I'm better with Rocky IV.
I understand.
The director's cut has helped me, and the one spin-off sequel to the Rocky series with the 2 Dragos. Wait, here I am with the 2 Dragos. That helped me appreciate Rocky IV far more. So what's your favorite? Okay,
so it's a toss-up between Rocky and Rocky Balboa.
Beautiful.
Rocky Balboa was, at the time of my life when I was, coming up in as far as getting engaged and getting married for the first time and moving out of my parents' house and things like that. And that really kind of, now Rocky is in a later stage in life, but he's still fighting. He still wants to fight, and he comes up with all these classic quotes, and he has this the story that just comes back after 16 years or whatever it is. And I'm like, I love this. But then going back and watching the original Rocky, and then of course after taking your tour, I mean that's 100 times higher on my list now. Just going to all those original spots and just walking away at the fence, the long shot with the ball in his hand after he said, "I should have broke your thumbs," and then he just all this stuff that's going through his mind, and I'm just like, "Well, yes, do you want to fight Apollo Creed for the heavyweight championship?" He says, "No." And he's got reasons why he said no.
Yeah.
I mean, just this. So it just hits me. All of it hits me. So, and okay. So when he's in the arena and he's looking at the pictures and he said, "Hey, I'm wearing the different trunks." And I'm like, you know what? That's something I would say.
Right.
I would look at that detail and I would be so. I'm like, this is really where it hits home for me. So those 2.
Wow.
Stacy, isn't that amazing? You could just feel his passion for this.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to talk up and hog up the mic, but this is what I do,
No, this is great.
No,
we got to do this more again. Keep having me on. Keep bringing me back. If you
we
like
would love
to
do that. We'd absolutely. My God, are you kidding me?
I'm sending people to your tour. I'm sending people to your podcast, your Instagram, your Facebook, everything. I love it. So let's keep doing it. But we'll keep going now. Keep asking questions. I'm ready.
All right. So in a knockout speed round, who wins, Drago or Clubber Lang?
Drago.
In their prime, Apollo Creed, Clubber Lang.
Apollo Creed.
In their prime, Antonio Tarver, Clubber Lang.
Clubber Lang.
Clubber Lang. Nice. I think Clubber Lang.
He's just a stupid fool.
Don't give the sucker no snatcher. Give him guts. I told you I wasn't going away. I think Clubber Lang was almost a prototype for Mike Tyson in a way.
Yeah.
I can see that.
He just the way he was just. I mean, Tyson is superior to Clubber Lang in all ways, but I'm just saying there was just this anger and animal fightingness to him in the ring.
The
that was
quick
just
knockout and the low gas tank.
Exactly. Yeah. Really. That's absolutely incredible. It really is.
That's not a knock to Clubber, but I mean, you know,
no.
Trained by Apollo, and within 3 rounds he was beat. He knew how to beat him, so he never had to go that distance, and that's what Mike Tyson did at the beginning when he was knocking people out in 90 seconds. He never had to go those distances. So
I love Clubber Lang. He's one of my. He might even be my favorite villain. You know, I just ordered a bunch of Clubber Lang stuff, and I love it. I really, really do. But I also genuinely love Mr. T. I was watching about, I don't know, 3-4 weeks ago, I was watching a montage of all these old anti-drug commercials he used to do. Aww. And hey, fool, get off the drugs. He did this whole thing. I was posting a bunch of stuff, but I just love T's message in general. And then, of course, he went away for a long time. He had done he did a Fix It show on one of the home channels. I don't know, Fix It Fool or something. It was Fix It with the Tool.
I can see that.
Yeah, something like that. It didn't go very well. And then he did Dancing with the Stars. And I know he was a little arthritic and he wasn't moving, but just to see Mr. T back in the limelight was so wonderful for me. It took me right back to the early 80s when Stallone brought him on for Clubber Lang. I love that.
Of course, WrestleMania 1 with him and Hulk Hogan tagging up against Roddy Piper and Paul Orndorff, 1985 again. And then I actually got to see Mr. T inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame.
What was that like? Tell us about that.
I was a fan. I was so much fun. And, and a lot of people, I'm sure a lot of the people that were actually there, I don't know if they have the history of wrestling and boxing and Rocky that I do or whatever it is, but I loved seeing Mr. T get in, and I wanted to hear his stories, and he kept talking about his mama, and I loved it. And he kept going back to his mama, my mama, this is my mom, and I thought, thank, and it was great. And he was just being Mr. T. And eventually he got, the superstar Kane, he had to come out and actually give him the hook because he was taking too long. But he was just so proud to be there, and his mom was in the front. It was great. I loved it. Awesome. And I absolutely well-deserved, because if he wasn't part of that WrestleMania 1, we might not be at WrestleMania 40 right now. So
isn't that WrestleMania 40?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
That's
I remember.
I'll be there next year in Philadelphia, the home of Rocky Balboa, the home of WrestleMania 40 and 15. I was there too, so I want to see a big trellis over top of the ring, and I want to see a big ring over top of Rocky ring with the Italian Stallion and the Rocky statue.
They got to do something with that, right?
I want to see the Liberty Bell. I want to see it all.
I remember watching, Hogan and Ultimate Warrior.
That's my favorite too. Yeah.
All those guys, just, people could say what they want, whatever went on behind the scenes, the real arguments, the not the real, or whatever happened. I don't care. The entertainment value is just off the charts on all that stuff. Absolutely. It really is. Stacy, before we start talking about collections, or do you want to go right into collections? You take it where you want to go.
Yeah, I wanted you to tell us a story about how you got. I'm
sorry.
2 seconds. 2 seconds. Just tell us about Dirty Ugly Wrestling Podcast. What made you decide that? When did it start?
Oh, thank you for putting it up there. I appreciate that.
We want to send wrestling fans your way. Tell us all about that.
Yeah, and we're not right, we're not wrong, we're just fans. That's what we always say. And it starts with wrestling, but we talk about a lot of different things. When we had Michael, and we talked about Rocky, and we talked about boxing, and we talked his tour, and we have other people, and we have professional wrestlers, we have motivational speakers, we have musicians, anybody who basically the dirty and the ugly part. Now it sounds kind of negative, but it's not. So we were coming up with nicknames to have as personalities on the podcast. And we were like, well, why don't we call me Dirty Mike? Because if you're going to call yourself the Big Ugly, which has a connotation to it, I'm going to call myself Dirty Mike. And it's going to work because it's got a ring to it and it works. So one of my aliases being Dirty Mike, and 7 years now we've been doing this. And actually I just found this morning, and this is just random coincidence, that they rate professional wrestling podcast, WWE podcast, and they've been doing it for years. And they have a top 30 list, which always comes out once a year. And we've always kind of been in and out of that list. But now we're in the top 10. We're number 8. And that's just amazing. We've got the reach all over the world. So, Mike, we're getting you. That podcast is still actually streaming around the world, too. And there's so many different places you can see it. And it's just fantastic. So thank you for asking for that. And Dirty Ugly Wrestling Podcast, it's SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and anywhere where you can find podcasts. You just Google Dirty Ugly Wrestling Podcast, and you're going to find it. And we're going to talk pro wrestling. We're going to talk everything that you can talk about. And we might be talking about Rocky again soon because it's just all kinds of stuff to talk about.
Listen, I don't want to brag. What did you say you were in the top 10?
Number 8 out of the top 30.
That's a big deal.
In the whole year. That's pretty good.
Now, I just want to go on record. I'm going to toot our own horn, okay? Stacy's
toot the horn.
I'm going to say it.
What?
We are number out of 200,000 podcasts on Rocky. We are number 185,000. How do you like that, huh?
First of all, there are 200,000 podcasts about Rocky. In my mind, there's one. It's called the Rocky Files podcast.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you, my friend.
Hey, yo, it's not how hard you hit. It's about how hard you know what I mean.
I hear you, brother.
It ain't,
I hear you,
Go out and get what you're worth. You're better than that.
Better than that.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Don't forget to say hello to your mother. Anyway,
I love that.
That's your voice. I don't want to break into your
character, man, it's better when you do it.
I was doing it all the whole time when I was in the band with you. I couldn't do it. That's what we were doing.
That's the thing. When I get tours, especially with a fan like yourself, it makes me want to come home and watch the movie again.
Right.
Or go rent it on streaming or go buy the Blu-ray or the DVD box set, right?
DVD box set, baby.
Yeah, nice.
That's what these tours do for me. They make me want to go back and watch the movie again after driving around the streets of Balboa Land. I mean, it's just it really is just incredible to me. So, but anyways, Stace, go ahead. Pick up where we
I wanted to. All the stuff you've done is really pretty cool. I'm going to throw up a picture here. You're going to tell me about it. Ready? Here we go.
You're going to throw up a picture and you're going to tell me about it. Let's see.
Oh, Foot Locker.
Well,
referee,
I could get away with that, yeah. But no, that is one of my first promo picks from being a professional wrestling referee.
Right.
Nice.
And that started in 2012. Unofficially, I was doing it several years ago, unofficially. But that's when I actually got my actual license. You have to get a license for that in Maryland. And they took, I was a little heavier at that point in time. So I did a little Rocky 2 to Rocky 3. I dropped some weight. I look like a middleweight now, but
yeah.
Then I don't know about
that. But I like this. Go back to that one picture again, Stace.
Yep.
Okay. Here's the thing I want to say. Okay, take it down again. So here's the thing. You have a passion for wrestling.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, you feel, maybe you're not going to be the next Hulk Hogan.
Right.
Maybe you're not going to be the next Macho Man Ultimate Warrior. But what can you be?
Yeah.
You could be a ref in that world. Look at you going out and legitimizing it and following a passion. That is what I love about fans like you. That is what I love about this Rocky series that motivates people to go and do things like that.
Yeah.
Like, do you realize, Mikey, how big that is?
I love it. I have a great time. I got a passion for it. Everything I do. I don't do anything half-assed. So yeah, that first picture, that referee picture. I got to be a referee in so many different organizations and worked with so many different people. And then the other picture that she threw up there for a minute, the black and white picture, that's me being a ring announcer. And I was actually announced, now being a ring announcer for the evening. Here's Mikey D. And then I came out and I just, there I am. And I've done that in so many different organizations. I still do it. It's 10 years plus now. And yeah, I mean, you can do it. There's so many different places. Like, I'm not going to be physically a professional wrestler. However, I have had one match, one sanctioned official professional match as the referee ring announcer versus the wrestler who was bullying him. And I did win. And I am undefeated in that world. And I'll have to send you guys that video.
I was going to say,
go.
picture, video, send it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got my teeth kicked down my throat. I got knocked out, but I won. And it was referees sticking up for referees. There was a whole storyline. Somebody made a poster with said it had a McDonald's logo on it, but it said Mikey D. I mean, this is beautiful stuff. I love that business. And if you want to get into that business, you know, not only you listen to my podcast, but just anywhere you can find the right professional wrestling school, and they'll teach you everything. And there's commentary, there's ring setup, there's construction, there's sound, there's there's so many different things you can do.
Yeah, you gotta send that. We're gonna cut that in. I'll
send it. It's a short video. You can take clips out of it if you want. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. That was almost 7 years ago now. But I still, every time that memory comes up, I'm like, yeah, I got to share this. This is beautiful.
I can hear you. Come on! Yeah! Mikey! Come on! Awesome. Sweep the lane! You're actually going to do it? You're going to hit me so hard? How dare you! You're stupid! What's wrong with you? Get that way! Hit me to my face! Hit him again! How dare he try to hit me from behind? Do something! Hit him again!
Look at this handsome guy right here. Who's that?
Oh my goodness, who is that? Yeah, you'll never notice even if I take this hat off. Nobody can put that one and me together. But that was my
not true. When I saw that, I was like, look at those eyes.
That's 21 Jump Street right there.
Yeah,
Look
buddy.
That.
That was my senior high school port in 1995. Yeah.
Nice,
wow.
Nice. And then I got a couple more.
Oh, I know that place.
So you know this place, Mike. So I'm sure you've been by there. So right in front of the gift shop, and I was looking at that. I was like, snap a photo. I'm like, you got it, buddy, and I will. And my friend Chad snapped a photo of that, and you can see he's got the blue towel even around his neck, and he's wearing the tape and all that.
Tape, yeah.
Great, but it's almost what I'm wearing right now, and the high tops and all that. Yeah. There we go. Universal,
Planet Hollywood, baby.
Orlando. And
that's great.
My best friend Chris and I'm like, you gotta definitely get a picture of this. And he's in punch mode. So what am I gonna do? There's a big stanchion around it, so I'm gonna have to do something. He punched me in the face, so gotta do that. That was fantastic.
Great, I love that.
That's our last one.
And hey, the first time that I got to visit the Rocky Steps, it was raining. It was October, but man, I tell you what. I was there. I had a great time. I ran up the steps listening to my iPod with the earbuds in, listening to the end of Gonna Fly Now. And right up that when the song ramps up, I was like, all right, I got to get this is how long I have to get up the steps, because I have to be at the steps when the crescendo happens. So I can be like this. And I did it. So
nice.
That's great.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
That's great. My God.
So show us the stuff. I know you have a lot of stuff lined up. What do you got? What do you got?
Showed you the DVDs. So of course, Rocky the musical. Gotta have the soundtrack for that. And I never got to see it on Broadway, but the rights are available. And I did see it at Toby's Dinner Theater in Columbia, Maryland. And love wins. That's what I'll tell you.
Love wins.
What a fantastic story. And the guy and the girl playing Rocky and Adrian were fantastic. So I love the music. And I love the throwback to the first Rocky movie. It all was fantastic. Now, of course, I've got the 40th anniversary edition of the Rocky Balboa figure. Kind of a little wide in the waist area, but maybe that's for the belt. I don't know. I'm never going to take this out, but it's the Rocky 3 kind of deal. And I like this as well. It's a pretty cool edition of the and I got the little hanger so I can hang it on the wall. This is just a short list of things, and I've had most of this series of Rocky 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all that Balboa, but this is the one I wanted to show because Thunder Lips, baby, in the flesh, baby.
In the flesh, baby.
You know,
I love it.
Ultimate male versus the ultimate meatball.
That's right. I got it all on there, and I love that whole deal. And I can go back and watch any Rocky movie at any time, but anytime that particular scene happens to be on, I have to watch it all the way through. I can't stop. And if any like TV station ever puts a commercial in the middle of that, I will write to them and say, no, you need it from the opening billboard where it says Rocky versus Thunder Lips to the end when they take the picture. At least don't put any commercials in the middle of that.
Right.
Sometimes charity really hurts, you know.
Love that scene. Rocky 3 is my favorite, so I love just the way he jumps on his back. That is like my favorite. How do you like it? And jumps on his back.
Gotta catch that in there too.
So
it's beautiful.
awesome.
You know, in Rocky 3 now with these 4K Blu-rays and so on, you can, and with DVDs, you can pause it. And you know, these flat screen TVs, if you pause it, you will see that Sly stunt guy, and you'll also see the men holding like a 6-inch thick blue mat that he gets thrown into in the audience. And you have to say, like sometimes a little bit of the magic gets taken out of it, because when it happens in the blink of an eye, you don't notice that stuff. But now when we go back, and nut jobs like Mikey and myself, we go back, we look at these things over and over and over and scrutinize it. We're like, look at that. That's so awesome. But then it's like, you know, realizing Santa has helpers. And so it's like, well, all right.
If anybody knew how to do it, it was Sly.
Totally.
And I'll tell you what, he did it right. And with that scene makes that movie start off on the right foot. I mean, just a beautiful thing. And I know you told me on the tour that they had possibly were going to do like a callback to that, where Thunder Lips was a long time down the road, and Thunder Lips was going to be on the screen or something for a very short period of time, just a throwback to it. I'm like, you know what? If they did it, you might be okay with it, but I'm okay if they don't, because leave it just where it is. It's perfect.
You know, one of the things we tend to hear on we hear so many of these movie rumors, and we hear a lot about what was going to happen, deleted scenes, and so on. And I think it's the one thing I've learned is never to second guess Stallone. I think the guy just. Especially when it comes to Rocky. I know a lot of people will say, oh, Mike should have second guessed him on Rocky 5, but Rocky 5 is really an anomaly. A lot of things happen that just the gel wasn't right. If Sly was the director, I believe it would have been better. John Avildsen was not the man he once was. He had lost a step or two. And that's not to say anything bad about John Avildsen. My God, he put together Rocky and gave it to us in Musso. But I'm just saying facts are facts. You know, he was not the same guy. You know, Sly might not have been as he didn't assert his dominance or assert his will as much as maybe he now regrets not doing. He really wishes he did. And I know he wants to recut Rocky 5 more of a director's cut or a work print cut. I know because there's a lot of deleted scenes out there that are in the vault that most people have not seen. And I mean,
Little Marie,
the whole Little Marie thing. What a
Yeah.
debacle that was. She was a horrible actress, Joni
Yeah.
Latifah, and they had to take her out because, you know, it was just a way to shoehorn in "Screw You, Creepo" out front of Mickey's gym.
Mhm.
But I still want to see that, even though the scene wasn't that good. I think fans would like to see that, but
I would. I wanted you to take me to a couple spots in Rocky V movie, and you were like, "Oh, not a lot of people ask for that." And I'm like, "Well, you know me. I want to go by. I want to go by the church. I want to go by the schoolyard. I want to see it all." And I was like, "Man, this is great."
Could you believe, Mike? I've had people on tours tell me, "Man, we're not interested in Rocky V locations." Hey, really? I go, Rocky walked his kid here to the hole in the fence.
Yeah.
He comes around the corner with him and Paulie. It's just the home of the original Atomic Hoagie Shop.
Yeah.
I'm new here, Dad. and so, again, I mean, you know, all these...
Irvin Blight,
you know.
I love it. No, I want to see. I wanted to see as much as you could show me, and as much time as I was like, you know what, I got to come back and take this tour again, and we can go on other locations. There was a couple that we didn't go to or we couldn't go to. I understand.
Yeah. Like Paulie's house, Paulie and Adrian's house from the first movie in Rocky V. Again, that house is completely changed. If you were to stand in front of that, you'd be like, what am I looking at here? It doesn't look anything remotely like it did in the movie. Plus it's in the real bad section.
Oh yeah.
But you know, we still get around.
It was great. It was a great tour, and I've been pushing that to everybody that I know. Actually, matter of fact, even this past weekend, I took that tour almost 6 months ago, and somebody came up to me that I haven't seen in nearly a year. It's like, man, I saw you posted all that stuff and all those pictures. It's like, I got to take that tour. I'm like, yes, you do, and you need to contact Mike, and here's the way to do it. And you know, you got to get on his list, and he'll work with your schedule. You know, but he gets booked up quickly, and rightfully so. But yeah, absolutely, brother. That is a fantastic thing.
I can't thank you enough for that. I really can't. Stacy, what else we got for him?
You know, I love some of my favorite stories is the moments that people use a Rocky quote or a Rocky scene. They're in the middle of some very personal thing. I know I've done it. I've done it at work when I didn't know quite how to make my point. I've literally pulled quotes right out of the movie and delivered them like it was part of my own point at work.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever done that? Tell us about a moment like that.
I'm sure I have, and I'm sure I've done it so many times, and probably in the voice that it was intended. You know, and I pulled out all the characters. You know, if he dies, he dies. You know, I don't know where I'll be using that. Probably when I was watching the news or something like that, and it's like, if he dies, he dies. You know, whatever. But nobody owes nobody nothing. You owe yourself. I know I've used that 100 times. All I want to do is go to distance. You know. I could tell you, you know, some of these that come out of nowhere. Like some of them, maybe one day you could punch out your pop. That's a Paulie quote. By the way, happy birthday, Paulie, because we're recording this on. I don't know if you already said that. Probably on the 83rd birthday of Burt Young. So
we just had his birthday. Yeah, we did a little thing the other day about that.
Well, I will follow that up with happy birthday, Paulie. Happy birthday, Paulie. You know,
I love the robot.
Was it parked outside in the driveway? You know, that's not it. And I love the robot. I know the Rocky IV cut. Anyway, no, by the way, the director's cut was pretty darn good. I did enjoy that thoroughly because it's a different set of eyes.
I'm glad we have two. Let's talk about Rocky IV for a second. I'm actually glad we have obviously the original. I'm very grateful for that, but I'm glad that we have a little more serious take on the character. I do like that. It was always something Sly was more intended to go with, but again, it's you've got two parts there. If you want to go original with a little more lighthearted, it's Rocky IV original. But if you want to go a little more serious, well, you got the director's cut. And I just think I've said this before, I'll say it again. My favorite moment is when we hear Rocky and Adrian are hugging inside about him leaving, and we hear Paulie say, "Come on, the meat is running." We were all with Paulie for decades rewatching Rocky IV. We all stood along the limo with Paulie looking up at the window. And in my mind, we see Adrian and Rocky there, and millions of us are out front of that window. Now we know what was happening inside. And
that's very cool. That was very smart. Yeah.
See him behind the wall. Yeah. I love that. Absolutely love that.
I loved the director's cut. I loved Rocky 4. I mean, for me, I wanted to keep everything that was ever in the first Rocky 4 and just add all the new stuff. I don't care if it ended up being over 2 hours. There's no such thing as a Rocky movie that's too long. Just
Correct.
Yeah.
add it all into what was already there. That
was my first favorite Rocky because it was the first one I was introduced
Right.
to.
Yeah.
And I had no problems with it. And because I was 7 or 8 years old, I bought into the whole, as far as the building up to the fight and Apollo dying and then the training montages and going over to Russia. No sparring, all the stuff in Russia, Wyoming, wherever you want to call it. I loved all of it. And, leading up to that big fight, and the big fight feel, Ivan Drago, a man with an entire country in his corner, and that the music that came out with the light that came out of the tunnel, and he's walking down. Oh my God! Like there's a lot of that movie that I would love till the day I am not here anymore. So,
of course,
beautiful.
It's a lot
stuff.
of people's first Rocky.
Yeah.
Mid '80s. I mean, especially in the times that we're all in. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I would not mind seeing different cuts of any of the Rocky movies just to see different views of what Stallone could have or would have wanted to do. 5 would be the main one because of, like you said, John was the one that did most of that or all of it. And we didn't see it from Sylvester Stallone's point of view. But if we do, we might get some more insight. And that, great stuff.
What do you think about a Rocky prequel? An 8-series Rocky prequel where Stallone covers Rocky's life around 15 years old with the backdrop of the 60s, and we see how he and Gazzo were stepbrothers. He meets Paulie, Mickey, Adrian for the first time. Wouldn't that be amazing?
I would love it. This is kind of where the Many Saints of Newark and the Sopranos kind of met for me. And I watched the Many Saints of Newark and I'm like, this is only 2 hours long. This is too short. I want more. I want an entire series devoted to this. But if we saw that, the prequel to Rocky, and Stallone was the one that put his signature on it, let's do it.
Well, and you bring up a really good point here because Sue and I are huge Soprano fans. Soprano fans.
You ever talk about that? Let me on because I'm ready.
Yeah, definitely. So
with the gabagool. Sorry.
The problem that we had, and it wasn't because I was open to a story, whatever they wanted to say. They're doing the race riots in New Jersey. Okay, well, the problem why I think it got a lot of negative views or people complained about it, not that it was bad in and of itself, it was good storytelling. But I think fans wanted, they wanted more Silvio, they wanted more Paulie Walnuts, they wanted more Puss, they wanted all these things that we only got a snippet of it.
Yep. That's what I said. I wanted a whole series, whole mini-series, whole docu. I wanted the whole thing.
And I wonder why Chase went that way. Like, I know it was about Dickie Moltisanti and how he was the inspiration behind Christopher and all these things. And then we learned that Uncle Junior, he kills Dickie Moltisanti. Like, all these interesting things. But I just wonder why Chase didn't go down more of what the fans wanted from the, I don't know.
I'm not sure. I mean, there was little bits and pieces that you got to just jam into that 2 hour, if they figured they were only going to do one movie and not the whole thing, maybe if they had the time and the leeway to do more episodes and make it more episodic instead of just one movie, maybe they wouldn't have had to bookend it with the end of the movie being Tony Soprano looking over the coffin and playing that music in the background, which is great. Fantastic, but that's kind of like, okay, here's where our story stops. Go watch The Sopranos now. And
why not do even like HBO? You mean to tell me if Chase got Terrence Winter himself and a few other of the writers, brought them back to do a 3-episode deal on HBO, just a 3-episode deal of the early years of Tony Soprano and the crew when they were young men. Oh my God, that would set the world on fire.
Sure would.
I mean, it would be incredible. Oh, I don't know what.
The Rocky intro docu-series, all of it would set the world on fire. Beautiful.
I'm very hopeful. Every once in a while when this subject comes up in a message between me and Sylvester, there's hope in his words that it will happen. He really, really is interested in this, and Jesus, I think it would be so much better than what's on TV today. I mean, we have some good stuff on TV today, but I think this would really complement it. Amazon would have it on their thing, right, Stace?
It would break the internet. It would break every stream, whatever streaming platform it was on.
I mean, he's already in with Paramount Plus. Why not? Keep going. Tulsa King, the Stallone, reality show coming out. Why not? Just keep going.
I heard on Paramount that the day before Tulsa King came out, it was their most downloaded or their most signups.
I will tell you, that's what finally got me into doing Paramount Plus for the yearly plan, which was Tulsa King. There was a couple other things, great, but man, Tulsa King, Stallone's working as hard now as he ever did. And I love, pretty much everything he does for one reason or another. So, and that's what I told you too, Michael, in the tour. I'm a Stallone fan, pretty much anything he's been in, all the way back to, Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, or going further back. It's beautiful stuff, man.
Hey, listen, I love Rhinestone. I was talking about Rhinestone the other day. I mean, my God.
I loved Rhinestone. I remember loving Rhinestone when I was a kid.
Drinkenstein, stay out of my bedroom.
Sing it.
Oh, I mean, I love that movie. I really do. And that movie gets a significant amount of hate, but I love Rhinestone. I always have. Stacy, before we let Mikey get out of here, what else do you have?
I gotta go, man. I don't want to.
Hey, what else you got? Hey, that's up to you. I'll send it to you. What do you got? Go ahead.
I'm just ready to just keep talking Rocky and keep talking Stallone. And I mean, I could, if we turn this camera around, I got to give you a better angle. But I mean, this is in my office. I've got all kinds of baseball, Baltimore Orioles. There's a whole Ultimate Warrior wall over there. I mean, I've got, as far as championship title belts, that Rocky one was one of the last one I got. But as far as pro wrestling, up and down, all the way from the 80s, I've got pretty much every professional wrestling championship belt you can think of, because I'm a collector. That's what I do.
Now, I'm going to say something here. Now,
you can say whatever you want. This is your show.
I love, there's something going on in your room that most people watching this are probably not going to know what it's from. Now, this is for people. This is for people who are on our live chat right now, because it's Thursday and we're doing this pre-recorded, but we're live on
That's
YouTube.
Right.
So in the live chats, I just want you guys to look at Mikey's wall. Does anything jump out on his wall? We see a map, one of those cartoon-looking maps, probably of what is that? Baltimore?
That's Cooperstown. That's
Cooperstown.
Baseball Hall of Fame.
Baseball Hall of Fame. Right? We got a TV. We got a couple of pictures, a light switch over there. But and I'm not going to say anything just yet, because I want people to look around, and I want to see if you people see what I see, because I have the same picture in my bedroom. All right. Now I'm going to just keep talking and see. Stacy, you probably don't know what I'm talking about either.
I don't.
I know. It's okay. Don't be. It's not a test.
I won't point at it or anything. I will. I'll wait. You're building the suspense.
I'm building the suspense. So I was born in a little town north of Philadelphia. It's called Scranton, Pennsylvania. And Scranton is famous for a lot of things.
Oh, I know.
Okay. But what I'm talking about is a little TV show most people haven't heard of, or maybe the world has heard of, called The Office. And the secretary, Pam, she is this budding artist, and she has an art show one night, and she draws the outside of the office, and which is that building right over Mikey's right shoulder, high up on the wall. That very painting, a picture, I have the same thing, and that's a huge thing in the office world. A huge thing. So what is it with you in the office? How have you come to love this show?
I tell you, I started watching it when it first came around, and it didn't come out too fast enough for me. I needed more. And it was 9 seasons. It was great. I love Steve Carell, but I love everybody else that does their thing on there. And Scranton, PA is not too far away from where I am in Baltimore either. So actually, that's the same trip on that wall. So as we were heading out of Baltimore, going up to Cooperstown, we had to stop at Scranton, and we had to go to the mall where the actual Scranton welcomes you sign is. We had to go to a couple of locations that were in the show. And we had to go to the restaurant where the store was. And
Cooper's.
That's right, Cooper's. And we had to go to a couple other places that, we're in the show, we're not in the show, we're mentioned in the show. And I got that because that just made it I watched that show too, and watch it as they end the entire series, and they just go back to that picture on the wall, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? Whether it's an office, it's a home. So you build a home somewhere, whether it's work, whether it's play, whether you build a home, and that's great. That's just when I was looking at your stuff for the past couple of weeks with the outside of Mick's gym, the actual when Stallone even had it in his hands, the whole Mick's gym, because I know it's being torn apart and refurbished and everything now.
Yeah.
And man, it's like I want the professional boxing sign outside. I want it all. I want to be able to go in that door and go up those steps and go to Mickey's room, but I know that's not right. The internal and the external are different. I get it.
Yeah, no, I know you know that.
But I believe it. That's how I believe it. That's how I know it.
But you see, this is what good storytelling is all about. This is why John Avildsen assembled one of the greatest crews in movie history. And it was all of Stallone's words. It was his concept. It was his passion and drive and love. Then you had the actors and you had the music. And of course, you had the backdrop of Philadelphia. And it all comes together in this amazing, amazing movie that has changed a lot of our lives in a very profound way. And it's just, I just love being able to reach out to fans like yourself, Mikey. It means the world to me.
Thank you. It means the world to me that you do what you do, and you both do, and what you do, and Stacy and your whole team there.
Thank you.
And thank you for keeping this art form and this history and this story and this legacy going. And because it can continue to grow no matter how much Stallone does or what he wants to put out, that, just keep it going. And there's always somewhere to dig. There's always something else to see. There's always something else to talk about. You can go back so many times and get something new out of it every single time.
Yes.
That's amazing. Stacy, before we let him go, any last questions you got for him?
I was going to just expand on what you're saying, because when you watch it as a kid and when you watch it when you're older, what hits as a kid and what hits as an adult, it's a brand new movie, brand new scenes that you sort of just glazed over when you were 10, kind of punch you in the face when you're 50. I love. That's what makes it timeless. And no, I just appreciate your excitement. You're just, what a fun conversation you've been. And Mike's point, especially, you love wrestling and you're in that bubble. I love Rocky. I love Stallone. He's not my BFF, but I wanted to get inside somehow.
Yeah.
So you're doing that with the wrestling.
Oh, I'll get you in. I'll get you in. No, don't you worry about that. You all, both of you can come on my show anytime you want to have the availability. We'll get you in the world of professional wrestling.
That'd be fun.
Except for my kid being born. I don't have kids, but except for my kid being born, this is the greatest night in the history of my life.
See that?
Wow.
So, anyway.
All right, Mikey, you are on a business trip for professional wrestling. You're out in Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
It's been decades after the events at Nakatomi Plaza. You are in the elevator going up, and as the elevator opens, Sylvester Stallone is in this elevator, and you now have a 30-second ride with him. What do you say to him?
I say thank you for inducting Hulk Hogan into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Nice.
I say thank you for giving me 40-plus years of entertainment. And I also say, you know what? Yo, Adrian, we did it.
Oh,
You can't go wrong with that. Perfect. Perfect.
I was at 30 seconds. I could go for further, but he'd probably put me back in the elevator, push the button, and send me back down.
Hold you in there.
Yeah, but that's how I'll top it off. But yeah, let's do this again. My show,
Absolutely.
Your show. Let's do it on your.
I like
let's
that.
Do it everywhere.
That sounds like fun to me. It really does. Mikey, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come here, getting dressed up, or maybe this is your everyday attire. Either way, I love it.
I wash it. This is what I wash. The mask, I go back to it. This is what's disposable, but it's got the colors on it. So
I love it, my friend.
I will. It's sweat clothes. It's comfortable. I don't feel like a Kentucky Fried Idiot right
That's
now.
Right. That's right.
But
That's
thank
right.
you guys for everything you do as well. This has been a blast.
Thank you, my friend. And as we always say, keep
punching.
I was gonna say it, but I knew you were coming. But keep punching.
Oh man, thank you
so
my
much.
friend. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Now you see, that's what I call class, okay?
Oh, fun. Yeah. I'd go on that podcast with him. It'd be fun.
We should go on.
My cheeks hurt from smiling so
I know.
He was identified.
I know. Yeah, he was. I knew he had good energy. He was really fun on the tour. He really had that energy that just kind of recycles itself. No, not recycles itself. It builds on itself.
Yes.
So like he's like a little engine, and it keeps going, and it building and building and building.
Magnifies.
Exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes.
And that's the type of energy I love, and I appreciate that, because that's how I get at times. And it can be overwhelming to someone who's not used to that type of energy. That's big energy to harness and move around. So I just a big shout out to him, man. Thank you so much for coming out.
Well, that's the kind of energy we want here.
Exactly.
This is where you can do all that. So.
Exactly. Now, listen, Stacy, we had a few other topics that we were going out of order here, because
That's all right.
you and I were gabbing as we were setting things up here, and we realized, it's like 3 minutes to 1 or to 2. It's okay. We have to go and do our interview. So, okay. Like I said, I didn't say anything. Let me rewind that. So, Stacy, yesterday it came out that they're going to, it was a confusing title, to tell you the truth. I read some headlines that said Stallone with another writer is rebooting Cliffhanger.
Right.
Now, when I hear rebooting Cliffhanger, I think remake. And I think, why remake that? You can't, but then I read some other articles that said, no, it's a sequel.
Okay.
So I'd like to hear from Sly and see is it a sequel? Is it a reboot? What's he doing? But he is going to be involved with it. Now, I don't know if he's playing Gabe Walker.
Yes.
I don't need. Oh, is he?
Yeah, they said reprising his role.
Reprising his role. Okay. I didn't read every article that came out. Okay. Now, I knew 15 years ago, 20 years ago, they wanted to do a sequel where he was going to go to a dam. Oh. Gabe Walker in some type of a dam situation. Mm-hmm. I don't know what was happening. A natural disaster, what more terrorists? I don't know what it was.
They said reprising his role as Gabe Walker, and it's a terrorist scenario. Yes. Okay.
So. That could be interesting. So I mean, here we are. It's never too late. I mean, my God, they're doing that. Then he was talking about Frank Grillo doing Nighthawks, redoing Nighthawks. I mean, the only thing is like Nighthawks could work.
I love Nighthawks.
But if Sly's not in it, to me, it just becomes another police drama. Right? Like there's 90 medical dramas on,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? And I'm really not putting it. It's not that I'm putting it down. So I don't want people to take it as that. But I'm just saying it's just going to be another cop show. And the guy will be called Deke Da Silva, and his partner will be Matthew Fox. I think that was Billy D. Williams' name in it. And there'll be New York cops going on things. But you see, and Frank Grillo is a fine actor. I've seen him in a few things, and I like him. I think he's really good. But I don't know without Sly in the role. You know what I mean? Now, does Sly play maybe he plays the captain?
Is he involved, though? Is he involved? Is he writing it, directing it? Or is
I know he's involved, but I don't know how.
Well, see, so that's the thing. We talk about, if you have the Stallone instinct in there and you find the right actor, I still think it could work. Just because what he brings is there. I don't know. And I love Nighthawks. I think that was a very well done movie. So
yes,
it's about finding the right actor. But and we said it before we even started recording. All of Generation X wants to see this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good
whether
point.
you redo it, whether you expand on it, whether you do the prequel to it or throw something in the middle of it. I don't care if it's the Rocky topic, Rambo topic, Nighthawks, Cliffhanger, anything Stallone that he wants to redo or expand on. You have an entire generation that is going to go.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And and we've seen this, Stacy, quite a lot. We see parents, family, friends passing it on to the next generations as well. That's another thing that we see. This Rocky thing, we've seen it over and over and over. And watching younger, newer generations discover Rocky is
It's fun.
fantastic because we say like, oh, well, you can't wait till when you see what's ahead of you. You
Right.
know, I mean, it's incredible. So it just, Sly, if you're watching this particular episode, just keep punching, keep writing, keep doing what it is you're doing, because I have a hard time seeing you just sitting on the beach eating cashews and
No.
sipping Mai Tais.
He's not stopping. It's
I
not
don't
in his
think
blood.
he will. I hope he gets some downtime,
Yeah.
but I just don't think stopping is in his nature.
I can't, I've watched my parents be retired, and I don't think retirement is cracked up as everybody thinks it is. And I can't imagine him stopping. I just can't.
This is funny. Talk about retirement. I want to do a shout out to my parents.
Yeah.
I walked in on them the last time I was in, and they were doing something very interesting in the downstairs. That's right. They were reenacting movie scenes. And it turns out my mother's gotten into pottery. So she starts working the pottery wheel as my father was reenacting the Patrick Swayze scene from Ghost. And they've got the Righteous Brothers playing in the background. I said, what the hell is going on
And
here?
you didn't hit record? You don't have a clip of
No,
it?
I should have. I was shocked into unspeakable incoherency because I didn't know what was going on. And
Where
I
it was
just
going?
I didn't know what was going on. No, that didn't really happen. But I will say, you bring up a really interesting point about retirement, because I do see my parents enjoying their retirement, whether it means light afternoon shopping and a lunch at Cooper's somewhere, whether it's reading, gardening, golfing, taking as many multiple naps throughout the day as you would like to. And it's interesting, and I think well deserved for my parents. So where am I going with all of this, Stacy?
Well, no, I don't know. And I suppose it's different. It also depends on your funds, but
Yeah.
the reports that I get from most of my friends whose parents are retired, that they are bored to death. You know what I'm saying? And Sly cannot sit around and be bored. He'd be so antsy pantsy. He'd be out of his mind.
Yeah.
There's no way. He has too much to. I've said it 1,000 times. That man has to live to 100 years old. I decided that years ago. He cannot. He can't go anywhere until he's at least 100. We need a whole century out of whatever he can put out there.
His parents well into their 90s, and I'm
Yes.
sure he takes as good a care of himself as he can. So,
Yes.
Sly, don't go anywhere.
Yeah. No.
We still
Please.
need you, pal.
Yes. Oh, Michael.
All
All right.
right.
74. I think
74.
we've wrapped it up and put a bow on it.
I think so. I've done rambling. Oh, look at that. Listen, speaking of rambling, I wrote a little book called Cue the Rocky Music, okay? And cue as in press the button, press play.
Right.
And this is what I would do. I would listen. I had audio recorded the Rocky movies, and I would listen to them on my Walkman. Every time I tried out for high school football, I would go on a date, or I would get a new job. I would listen to the Rocky music. And even today, when I have some overwhelming thing in front of me that I don't think I can do, I listen to the Rocky music. So get the book. It's anywhere where books are sold. You'll enjoy it. There's a little documentary about my life by Jimmy Toscano out of Detroit and his crew. It's called The Pretender. There it is. This is incredible. This documentary, when you put yourself out there, you're going to be judged, and it's going to be good, bad, and indifferent. So I'm glad we did it. It's changed my life for the better, and go check it out. It's on streaming everywhere except Netflix, because Netflix, I don't know, they missed the train. But hey, Netflix, you can pick it up anytime here. Yo.
Just saying.
That's right. Just saying, duh. Anyway, Stacy, where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram at the Rocky Files and at Had Me at Yo, because that's true. And also on Facebook at the Rocky Files podcast.
That is so awesome. That's amazing. It really is. I mean, here we are wrapping up 74.
Yep.
74. 75 is next week.
Yes.
And we're still going to take a 2-week hiatus in June.
Yes.
Unless we somehow find a way to film 2 other episodes on top of what we're already doing.
That's true.
Either way. Okay.
But that's later. We'll talk about that when we get to June. But there's a potential 2-week vacation happening.
I'm just preparing. Vacation, in quotes.
Right. Oh, you're not kidding.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Stacy, I love seeing your smiling face, my friend.
You too. You too.
Thanks, buddy. I'll see you in a week.
Okay, see you next week.
Keep punching, buddy.
Keep punching.